everyone, it's Lori from Stampinology, and I want to thank you for joining me today. I have a card for you. I know, big surprise, but that's how I roll. So what I've got for you today is a twist and pop card. This one was made super popular about 6 years ago. And you guys know I like to reach back in the archives and go find fun things to revisit. Excuse me. So this one is what I came up with. I actually, about 3 years ago, decided I wanted to make this card for New Year's, and I will show you why. Ta-da! How cool is that? And honestly, does not make the perfect New Year's card. So, but it also, I think it'll make a great baby card. Could you just see all the little baby accoutrements in there? Or even the word baby would be really cute. But this is what we're going to do today, and this version is a New Year's card, and I do want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. I hope this year is better than the last, and I hope we all have lots of good happy crafting. So let's get going. This is, now you can probably see from the opening here, I'm going to try to open it. You see that twist that we've got going there? That's what I'm going to teach you how to do. I'm also going to show you the gigantic mistake that I made here, but you know, we'll get to that. Yay. So this is made from cardstock, as you can tell. I have used the brand new, in the mini catalog, the Gears and Textures set. Now this is the way, if you haven't ordered anything, this is the way our stamps and dies are going to start coming from now on. And personally, I love it. We're used to seeing dies like this, die packets like this, which is fine, but look how much nicer this is. Oh, that's the stamp set. This is the die set. Look how much nicer that is when it actually shows the dies on the front. So I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm looking for something specific and I pull it out and I go, Now this one's alphabet a la mode. But you see how tiny that is and hard to read. Well, without my glasses anyway. And this is perennial postage. So if I'm looking for something specific, I actually have to get it out and open it up and look inside. Now, I just pull out. If I think, oh, I need a piece that looks like a chain, I can just open it up and there you go. So I'm really, really happy about that. Well done, Stampin' Up. Really cut down on the amount of plastics that are being used here. And, you know, Mother Earth needs our help, folks. So anyway, we're using the Gears and Textures set today. I have also, as I showed here, pulled out perennial postage. That is what we made our little squares from. And I have liberated from the archives, which is still available, by the way, the alphabet a la mode dies, which are where the numbers have come from. Couple of tips on working with these dies later. But if you do any scrapbook, these are invaluable, honestly. And there hasn't been a number set in several years. So the fact that this has letters and numbers in it is pretty valuable. I bought it in thinking that even if it got discontinued or whatever, I would hang on to this one for a while. I think it's going to be a long, useful set. And oh, and one last thing, our Happy New Year sentiment comes from the brand new Reasons to Celebrate. This is also a new one, and I hope you can see this. There are, it's a little bit flashy, sorry about that. There are lots of great sayings in here: anniversary, New Year, Patrick's Day, Easter, Valentine's. This is just a good, basic, all-around, some things on the inside, the very best, another wonderful year, better together. These are nice little things that, because we often look for something to stamp on the inside. A secondary greeting is, well, kind of an obvious choice sometimes. So anyway, this is what I have used. I have also used the awesome Secret C cardstock. This I did with Night of Navy. So if you've ever wanted to see a comparison between the two, Secret C is much more gray. I would still call it a navy blue, but it's much darker and on the gray side. So, but I decided I wanted to use that. I've also used the Designer Series paper set that is Country Woods, which is in the main catalog. I don't know if anyone remembers, but it came out in the mini catalog and was so popular and just so all around just fantastic. And I'm on my second packet of the stuff. It's just a really good paper. So that's another one if you were looking for stuff for your stash. This is a really good one, especially if you ever make any mail cards. It's particularly good for male or masculine type cards, I should say. All right, so anyway, I used Country Woods on the front of this, on that one, and I've used Country, I'm going to use it on the one that we did today. This is another pattern from the set. So we'll get going. Let me move this. Now, first things first. When I first saw the design, and I'll tell you right now, the incredible lady named May has a YouTube channel called May Made It, and I really love her. She's got some awesome things in there, and she's a Southern lady like myself, so it's sort of nice to get a nice I guess, yeah, well, it helps the homesickness when it comes to accents, because the English accent and the Southern accent is, as you know, well, yeah, a continent apart. We'll just leave it at that. So anyway, I made the card. I was quite taken with it. And this is actually old. And as you can see, I used already printed on paper. But I made this up. These are according to May's designs. And I checked it out. Well, actually, no, this is my design. But I used her outlines. And I made one up just so I could see how it works. Because this is really sort of confusing looking. And when we start getting together, and after you watch this video, you'll think, oh, I could do that. And then you'll sit down to do it and you'll go, oh, wait. Which is right. There's also a website with complete instructions. But you can always watch the video again. But make one of these up, because once you do this, your brain will just automatically pick up and go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then also, so when I was designing the bigger card, because you guys should know I work in imperial and measurement. So the imperial one, I did like this. So, and I designed this card pretty much around this, this die cut, because I really like it. I like this perennial postage set, but I just thought it made a nice, just fit with it. And I decided years ago when I first settled on it and I first got these dies that these would be the ones I used. So anyway, I will leave May's link in there. She goes through, she tells you how to make this, same as I'm going to do. But she goes into detail about how to make it up and change up all the directions for the size that you need. Because you may not want this size. You may want a different size. All right, here we go. This is a basic card base, a basic base card base. We make these all the time, folks. If you're working with me in metric, it's going to be 10.5 centimeters this way. And this way, it is the 29.7, and we're scored halfway at 14.85. Now we usually make card bases going sideways, so instead of making our card base, instead of cutting it here and folding it, we went long ways on this. You can make these cards with a side fold. I do have one around here somewhere that I tried. It's going to need something very specific, because the piece that folds out has to be relatively narrow, because your card cannot be, anyway, I'll show you, we'll get there. Your mechanism can't be bigger than your card, and you need a bigger mechanism to make it pop out. I know, we have to avoid all the problems saying bigger is better. It's not, okay? It's all in the way you use it. Enough said about that. Basic card base. If you're working with me in Imperial, you're going to use the same thing. You're going to split it lengthwise, and you're going to use going to go 4.5 by 11, and then you're going to score at 5.5. So basic card base. Now at this point, I'm going to do something I don't ever do. I usually make up the card, get all the things together, and then decorate it. In this case, it is going to be much better if you decorate it, the card front, right now. To that end, I made a separate piece that I'm going to stick on here. And that's like I did the same thing in this one. And the reason being is when you fold this all together, you're going to kind of want some weight on here to make it fold and do right. Now you can decorate. I'll go to another point in the game where we can decorate it. But I'm going to do it this way because I think it's going to be easier. So I made this. This is Country Woods in the background. I stamped several of the images from the Gears and Textures stamp set. And then I went crazy and just cut out one of everything of the gears and sometimes two of everything. And I used scraps left over. You have quite a big patch of scrap left over from this. This is one side of the paper, and then you've got a big chunk on the bottom and a long piece. So there's plenty to cut bits apart here. Now I'm going to use a bit of seal for this because we're going to go quickly. Normally I like to glue these kinds of things, but then you can use glue, no problem at all here. You guys know how to put backing paper on the cards. And leave yourself a little border all the way around. A little border, not a big border. Come on. That's why I prefer glue. Glue gives you a bit more twist room. All right, so there's our card base. We're going to set this aside for now, and we are going to work on our mechanisms. These are two pieces that you're going to cut from your strip, your leftover strip from cutting this. And like I said, you can see you should have plenty of room. I used extra because I already had some card pieces cut, so I would probably start with two pieces of cardstock just so you make sure you've got everything, especially if you're going to do little die cuts. All right, now 2 pieces, exactly the same size. We have 3 centimeters by 24 centimeters. If you're working with me in metric, that's 2 3/8 by 9 1/2, right? We're going to do the easy one first. You're going to take this piece and you're going to score it. Now, you don't have to score. I tend to like to score. This cardstock it's very stiff and it's perfect for this card. But I also think it makes it more difficult to crease if you don't have a starting point. So basically, with this strip, we're going to fold it in half first. Let me give you these score lines. So you're going to put it in here and we're going to score first at 6 centimeters, 12 centimeters, and 18 centimeters. And if you're working with me in metric, we're going to do 2 3/8, 4 3/4, and 7 1/8. Oh, I forgot my line there. It says 7/18. It should be 7 1/8. Now we're going to fold it in half first. So that would be at the 12 centimeter line or at the 4 3/4 line. Now, what you're going to do is you want to match this. You want to make sure this is matching. Now, everybody knows if you worked with cardstock at any time at all, that doesn't always fold up exactly. So, really need a bone folder for this, or a nice pencil or a heavy paintbrush that's going to work well for you. Hold it tight because these have to be straight, and push it up like that. So it still folds, but now we have a nice tight fold. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to fold each edge to the outside. We're going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to do it this way because it's easier for me to work this way. So we're going to hold that very tight right there because that needs to be an exact fold. And see how I've got a bit of buckle? Well, that's where it wants to fold. This is where we're going to make it fold. Now, see, we have to do a little retraining here, but it's all right. You're probably going to have to do it anyway. Just make sure you get it good and tight. Now, let's turn this over. We're going to do the same thing on this side. That's what May calls it when you have to shift your fold. She calls it retraining. So, do this one. Retrain this one a little bit. All right. But if we didn't have a place to start, it would be much more difficult. Now, we're going to do everything back the opposite direction. So, just so you've got really good, I mean, basically you're breaking the spine into the paper. And what we have left is a W. It could be an M, but the reason I'm going with W is when it's glued down, you can see here the W shape. I hope you can see that. Yeah. So we need a W out of this. And for now, we're going to set this aside. Now the tricky one. We're going to take the next piece of paper. We're going to score it in half lengthwise, which, if you can remember, this is 10.5 centimeters by 29, excuse me, that's half a sheet. Looking at the wrong thing. This is 3 centimeters by 24, or 2 3/8 by 9.5. So if we're going to go half this way, you're going to make a mark at the, did I write down? I think I wrote down where the fold lines were. Yeah, okay. So this is, card stuck a little bit. We're going to do 12 centimeters this way and 3 centimeters that way, or 1 3/16, and this way is 4 3/4. You've heard this number before. And now we're going to fold these. Again, be really careful. You want this to be as lined up as, oh, look, mine turned out perfect. Woohoo, doesn't always do perfect, so don't worry. We have our bone folder. We can retrain our paper. All right, and go back the other way. So you want to break a really good spine in here. Now we're going to go this way. And we're going to fold. Yeah, but that one's a little off. Go like that. And we're going to go like this. Make sure it is perfect. Yes. All right. So now we have a paper that has a cross in it. Okay, we see the cross? Well, this is where we're going to start getting a little iffy. All right, ready for iffy? We're going to take the right side of the paper. We're going to take that line and match it to this line, but we have to work on the center line. Now, what I mean by that is we're going to fold this over. So, do you see how the lines are lining up here? But you have to kind of work it out because we need that center point right there. Okay, I hope everybody can see that. I'm just going to sort of give it a little finger press here. I'm not going to go real hard because now you want to turn this over and you have to make sure that you're lined up here. Now see how we're a little off? So we're going to give it a little twist. Do you see I'm holding this, but I'm pulling it up like that. And now we're going to do it down. And once you get that second side in, you're free to go back and see we're still lined up here. I was holding it tight. And do this. And retrain that paper. All right. Now let's go back the other way. Yeah. Now you see how we don't have quite as nice a fold there. It's a little mushy on the edges. That's why I like to do the score lines first. It sort of prevents some of that mushy. All right, so we did this side. Now we're going to do this side. Remember, hold it in that center there. We're going to line up this to here. You see me pulling it around. Okay, back it up. There we go. So we've got our line right here. And we'll sort of gently push this into place here. We're going to turn it over. We're going to check the line on the other side. Yeah, we're going to need a little bit of twisting here. All right, now that goes there, and you can see our line from a moment ago is right here. Really important to get these lined up, folks. I cannot say enough. These lines have to be really, really nice and burnished down. Now we're going to fold it back the other direction. Like this. Okay, so what we have when we're all done is this. Now, just double check. Let me make sure we're still in focus. Yeah. All right. This is what we need. We need this X and then the cross here. This is what's going to make our mechanism. Now, here's the part you're going to have to watch, and then you're going to have to watch again. You're going to see me doing it. You're going, oh, wow, that's so cool. I love the way that works. And then you're going to go back and try to do it yourself, and you're going to go, wait, what happened? We want to pinch these ends up like this. But we want to fold this down. So in order to do that, you see what I did? I pushed it down this way, but I've still got this pinch. And now we're going to pinch this side and pull it down. All right, I'm going to do this one more time. So the ends are going to be pinched up and they're going to be pulled down. See, it wants to go up like that. We're going to make it go the other way. So I let go, pop it down. Watch, you can sort of see it popped. See, did you see it pop down? And then when you do that, hold the ends like this. Now we're going to line these ends up and do a little more paper retraining, okay? Push this out gently with your fingers. When it looks good, you're going to say, I want you to go this way, paper. And turn it over. Go this way. And now we have it. And this is our mechanism. Now, see, once this has been pressed into place, it folds in automatically. But it's just getting that initial fold into place. Now remember, you hold it flat, you fold the end up, and then you want this to go down. And see, it'll pop down for you. And then once you get that one side down, you pinch them together like that. All right, and that is our mechanism. Looks like a little house. Now, the lovely Maymay goes into detail about the size of this house, which I said, if you're interested in that, I will link the video because it's awesome. Now we're going to affix our house into its home. And to do that, I found tear and tape was the best. It's what I used on this one. However, I ran out of tear and tape. I used my last piece of tear and tape on this one. I didn't realize I was out of tear and tape. If anybody has tear and tape, you kind of know that it's, you don't really know when you run out. It just kind of surprises you. So I'm going to use seal for this. You can use seal. Seal works great. Glue works great. I did one with glue. The first one I did was with glue. But you want this glue on the edge, but you don't really want it rolling over, which is why I think tear and tape and seal are such a good job for this. Am I out of seal now too? Yep, I'm out of seal now too. All right, can't win. Oh, I've got some crappy seal. Okay, I've got some stuff. My order hasn't come in yet. Can you guys tell me? All right, this is not as good. This is really not Stampin' Up! That. Now, you're going to take your house. If you are wanting to be precise, you can line it up on a grid. Figure out what your halfway is. And go from there. I didn't feel the need. I felt like I could probably find halfway. But you want to hold this at that halfway point. You need it to be up in that corner. So you may have to slide a little bit. Work it up. You don't want it over the corner, but it needs to be touching in there. So I'm kind of pushing it down. And it needs to be straight in here. So, looks pretty good to me. And if it's crooked, y'all can give me dirty comments in the bottom. Now, using my forbidden seal here. I don't want to do glue because it takes too long to dry. And the reason I say that is you really don't want to open this. If you're using glue, do not open it before it is completely dry. I know, I did. In fact, I did it on this one. And boy, did I have a mess. So make sure it's flat. Hold your pieces closed. Got glue here, got glue on the bottom, got glue on the top. Fold this closed. And if you are working with glue, find a weight, put it on top, walk away. Very important, walk away. You want to give this at least 10 minutes to dry. I think the Tombow glue that we sell here at Stampin' Up! Is fantastic, but you really want this to dry. Or use tear and tape. I'm impatient, that's why tear and tape's best. Now, you can see the magic happen. We're going to open this and ta-da! Ah, but wait, Lori, nope, see, look, it didn't seal. I used cheap seal. Don't use cheap seal. Don't use cheap seal. Come on, you guys, you got to work for me here. See, the cheap stuff comes right off. come off. I'll probably wind up having to go back and re-glue this. Yeah, probably will. All right, so now we come in. This piece comes into play. Dun, 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 dun. At this point, I found it easier to decorate the inside. So I did. And put that over here. I put my greeting down here at the bottom. And I used, let me give you some numbers for these. I think the top one was obvious. I think most of us do this fairly regular. If you're working with 4" by 5.5 as your card front, then you know you're going to do actually it's 4 1/4. So this piece is 4" and this is 5 1/4. If you're working with me, then you know in metric, then you know this is 10 by 13 by 14.35. So if you didn't get that, I don't think I said it before, but most of us know how to cut our paper to leave a spot. This is standard stuff. But this is, we've changed our numbers here, so let me get them for you. The top and the bottom are the same size. I used designer series paper, and the bottom, and the bottom and top, they're the same. It's 10 centimeters wide by 5.5 tall. And to fit the other paper, oh, don't tell me I didn't put it in here. Did I put it in here? It's 4" by, I didn't put it in here. It's shorter. It's 3. You'll have to measure. I'll go back and make sure that I add it into the website so you have it. But it's very close. Like this is very close to being a square. It's the same if you were using a metric cardstock. In fact, did I write it down here? 3, I did. It's 3" by 4" if you're using, yay, this is my example. In case you guys wonder, I always make these up in both sizes. So, because I don't want to give you the wrong numbers and I don't want you to, because cardstock's different, you know? It's just a thing. So it's going to be 3" tall by 4" wide if you are working with Imperial. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these in here. Eek. Anybody else get glue all over their hands? Glue, ink, everything. I'm going to leave a little border on the bottom and the sides. Try to make it the same. Pop that in here. And I have used, for this, I used more die cuts. This, and this from the Gears and Textures set. Like I said, I went in and just cut everything out. I had so much fun with those gears, messing with them. And this is another perennial postage die cut. And if you don't particularly have that, let me give you the number for that. This is 5 centimeters by 7 centimeters. Or it's 2" by 2.5 wide. So if you need the size for that square there. Now the top, I did, like I said, it's the same size as the bottom. I just cut this 5 centimeters or 1/4 inch shorter top and bottom, so I had some border on it. That, again, that's very standard in card making. I think everybody knows how to do that one. I do have the numbers in here. So, I don't know why I didn't put that in there. That's really irritating. Alright, make sure they go back and get it in there, because I try to keep both sizes. And I stamped it for fun, because that's what we do. We love stamping. And I'm going to set this up here now. Oh dear, you see that bit of glue there? That has got to come out. Cannot have that. Alright, glue that down. We'll give that a minute. Of course, I have glue all over my fingers. And we can get on to the next piece. So this next piece is going to go in here. And this, we're going to use it as the W shape. Remember, I told you, think of it as a W. And we're going to glue the ends. Now, I'm going to decorate first. because like I said, you want the weight and you want everything to set. So this will also be good because I wipe that glue off. Now I used more of the, oh, there's that, Pete. Look at that. I had to cut another one because I thought I couldn't find that. Used more of the perennial postage. Like I said, these were in my original design, and this is the, is it the 3x3? I think it's the little 3x3 squares in perennial postage. What are they? 2x2 squares, 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, and 2x2. So I cut out 4 of these. I used the stamp off technique and stamped off the Secret C stamp, and this is one of the stamps that's in the textures, and Gears and Textures. Now these guys I cut out. Come on, I hope you can see that. I don't know if you have this set, you know that the alphabet a la mode is love it and hate it at the same time. The numbers are elegant. They're a good size. They're almost 1.5 inches, but they're thin. And you really cannot get glue on the back of these without making a mess. And that's why I tell folks, if you're going to buy alphabet a la mode, you need to buy some of this stuff, which is adhesive sheets. And what it is it's 2 bits of double-sided paper. I'll just leave that one out. And you pull it off, you stick it on the back, then you do your die cuts, and then you pull it off, because it's basically 2 pieces of backing paper with some glue in between. So if we do this, make it sticky. You don't use that much of it, but it is so worth it when you're doing something with skinny little detailed dies. It's worth every cent. And it's not that expensive, really. Especially when you consider I've had this pack for almost 3 years, and I haven't really used that much of it. Anyway, it's another day to try to get that to come off of there. So I cut 3 of these, 3 of each of these as a set, and with the sticky on the back, and then I stack them up. They're very, very flat. I can't have a lot of depth here on this, but I wanted some. On this one, I made the error of, I popped up the boxes. And while it looks amazing, when I fold it up, you see how thick that is? I will never be able to mail this card. This is going to be a handed across card because it is massive. So we don't want to do that, right? Don't make my mistake. That's why I said I did raise these up a little bit so they've got texture you can feel and touch, but they're not going to get caught on anything. The other thing with using anything that popped up is when the mechanism works, you don't want the mechanism to catch on itself. Oh, look at the glue blobbies here. So let's stick these down. Again, I had hoped to use the seal. And really, these pearls I use they may not work very well either, but I like them. Alright, so this is the 0. So this is going to go, like I said, I designed this to fit these. So the box just fits the size of this, which should let you know that this is going to be really easy, guys, to change the sizes and make the box size you want. But this is sort of I think this is almost a standard size for greetings, to have this 2-inch square or a 2 by 2.5 or 3. That's a really typical sort of card size acceptable. I'm going to stick these in here. And I hope you can see how awesome that looks, because when you stamp off that Secret C ink, it gives you a really pretty gray. It's very similar to the gray, not the gray granite, but the basic gray. And you can use that if you didn't want to do the stamp off technique. But I don't know, I'm lazy. Get one ink pad open, and that's plenty. Don't need to open anymore. Okay, here we go. Let's dump out this in here. If you can see what I'm doing. Move you out of the way. Move my brushes out of the way. There we go. I'm going to stick this down. Now I'll pop this in here. Okay, now for the next tricky bit. We're going to glue this together. These are the same size, so they will line up perfectly when you go to do it. And when they go to close, just make sure you got your W bend. But the trick to make this work is you want glue here and glue here. Now, I'm going to use my cheap stuff, but I'll go back and re-glue. Just because I wanted to show it to you. So, want about 1 inch of glue right up here. Because you don't want to exceed the size of this. I'm going to put about 1 inch of glue here. And then we're going to glue these down. You see? Above the line, below the fold line. So you're going to line this up. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to hold it because I don't want it accidentally sticking there. Okay. You can see if you're working with glue, you can work with glue. Glue works great doing this. But you have to let it dry. And since I want to show it to you because it's fun. Alright, see that's where my glue is on that side and this is loose here. Now, dun 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 dun, we need a drum roll please. Let's close it up. When you use cardstock, you usually don't have to help this. Now when I was making this one, I had to help it to close the first time. So actually you can see where it got caught a little bit. So carefully close it. You want to see this folding into the middle like that. Now as the ends come together, they're going to come loose. They're going to come loose on the top, come loose on the bottom. And this is where your twist happens. Can everybody see that? So open and then twist. Then you put something on here. Yeah, don't put anything lumpy under there. These are lumpy, so this one's fat again. And then you want to leave this closed for a little while, especially if you've got glue. And then that way, once you've set it, got the glue set up, you're going to open it and close it several times to make sure the mechanism, see it wants to catch, make sure the mechanism is working. If you've got it and it wants to catch like that, you'll have to use your fingers and push it closed. Oh, this is why my pearls wasn't a good idea. Because normally I could put something on top of this and let it sit. But now the pearls are going to push through and be lumpy. So don't put anything lumpy there. Okay? What do you guys think? I hope you like this. I really think this is a gorgeous card. It has a terrific impact. I've had several ideas I want to do. I want to do a baby card. I also think this would be cute to do like a zoo card. So you can put little zoo animals here. I think that would be pretty awesome. Because the kid's going to love this. And it's paper. If they tear it up, it's not going to matter. But it will be fun. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you'll give this a go. Even if you don't do anything but make yourself a little copy paper one. Just to see the way it works. But this is fun. It's easy. Watch the part of the video again where I'm making this fold and making the little house shape. But you can see now why you need it. Okay. I hope everyone has a lovely crafty day. If you like this video, I appreciate a thumbs up. If you're watching it on Facebook, a little heart would be nice. And if you like this kind of content, you like making cards and scrapbook pages, I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. Thanks again.